You were the Canadian Women's Hockey League yesterday with the Roughnecks, but I think it's getting pretty serious now when you're dealing with triathletes.
It's getting very serious. Yeah, we've done a lot of athletics this week. Fitness Friday, this is the third week in our 6-week series here at Talisman Center, learning about triathlons. And you know what? It's been so cold, right, Tara?
Yes, very much.
This is the perfect place to hang out.
Oh, nice and humid, probably.
Yeah, and the swimmers are warming up on the heaters there. That's where they hang out. So this is the perfect place. We're happy to be here learning all about triathlons this morning and inspiring you to maybe sign up for one. If you're thinking about your resolutions, you're thinking this might be something that you'd like to do, well, the building blocks are right here at Talisman Center. I'm going to bring Grant and Holly over, so come on over, you guys. They're just warming up. John, of course, the coach. Grant is a coach, and Holly does triathlons as well. Now, tell me a little bit about your race distance. What do you like to do, Holly?
I like Olympic the most. It's a little bit speedier than the longer stuff, but the longer stuff's fun for a different reason. You get to eat way more on the race course.
You get to eat way more. That's always a reward, isn't it? When you just get to eat whatever you want, and that's what Grant probably gets to do. You are a professional. And what's your race distance of choice?
I race the half Ironmans as my, the 70.3 races.
Okay, wonderful. We're going to get you guys in the pool again, if you don't mind, being our models here this morning. They're going to do a bit of swimming for us. Now, this is sort of the intimidating part of a triathlon, typically, when people think, I want to do a tri, but I don't really know how to swim. So how do you break it down in the triathlon club here, John?
So swimming often with about 99%, like yourself, is a real intimidating part of the triathlon, especially open water and kind of darkness with a bunch of people around you. So we start out slow. We start out with kind of technical lessons, and then we build from there. Once we get some technically sound swimming, we introduce group swimming, so they're used to being kind of hit and touched while they swam, because that's kind of a bit of sensory overload. And from there we introduce more fitness and speed, and then we also try and bring in, you know, the bike and the run and lots of technical and scientific aspects to really get people charged up about getting fitter, and then when it comes to race day, they can, you know, they're really excited about it.
Excited, pumped, prepared. That is the key to their success. Now, what about beginners? What if this is something I'm thinking about? The Triathlon Club is full right now. It's really grown. You have a lot of coaches here on staff. But what if I'm just starting out and interested in starting?
So we have a couple of options for beginners right now. The first one is we can do some private lessons. So, you know, people that maybe haven't swum so much, they can hire us, and you know, we can find some pool time and do some private lessons with some video work, so people can really get that sense. And then as the club stuff opens up, or maybe they want some comprehensive coaching, we can help out with those aspects as well. So there is still some room, just not right with the club right now.
Okay, but still lots of options down here at Talisman Center. We have our work cut out for us. We're swimming. We're going to be doing some running, some biking upstairs. You know, I wasn't great at hockey or lacrosse this week, Tara, but this might be something that I'll get bitten by today.
We're heading down to the Talisman Center again now. Our Jill Bellin is getting all kinds of tips on triathlon training, right?
Yeah, I'm actually quite enticed by the sport here, Ted. Now, I know you ran marathons. Is this something that interests you? Would you do a try?
Absolutely. It looks like a lot of fun.
It looks like a lot of fun, and there is a great place to start here. Talisman Center, a great program. We're learning about that today and getting a little inspiration from some athletes here, coaches in the Triathlon Club here at Talisman Center. As part of our Fitness Friday series, we're in week 3 here. We're here for 6 weeks and getting you started on your fitness resolutions for 2012. So I'm being joined by Grant. I have Holly, John, and Ed, who are all on the bikes here and working up quite a sweat, you guys. We do appreciate this. They literally hopped out of the pool and got straight on the bikes, and they're not just doing this for TV. They've been on the bikes for a good amount of time here. Now, we're talking about brick sessions. This is something that's really important in triathlon training. Grant, what is a brick session?
So the brick sessions that we run at a Talisman Center, they're a combination of cycling as well as running. So the Talisman's really unique in the ability to run cycling and running sessions in the same area that's closed specifically for the Tri Club. So essentially the goal of these sessions that we look for is we warm the athletes up on the bike, get their muscles all ready, and then we start to go through some intervals where you're a combination of cycling and running, so that way when you hit the race in the summertime, your leg's going to be used to running off the bike.
Okay, you don't want to feel like Jello when you get off the bike.
Well, the legs probably will still feel like Jello, but you'll know what to expect, and the more you train it, the better it gets.
Okay, you got to push through that. And let's talk about the importance of transitions, because that is something that, I mean, you may be able to swim and bike and run separately, but you also need to know how to go from each different activity.
That's right. So as you go through, the transitions are often called one of the fourth sports of triathlon. Okay. And so you'll see that athletes need to go through and train to see that so that they know what they're doing every time when they hit a transition. So when you come out of the water, a routine to go through to get out of your wetsuit and into your cycling gear. And here's great practice to get off your bike, get out of your cycling shoes, get into those run shoes and go on, and get used to kind of wearing the same article of clothing like the tri-suits that these guys are wearing, so that you can take that from the swim, the bike, all the way to the run and not have to change the clothes.
Yeah, that is the fourth component. How long have you personally been doing triathlon?
I've been doing them for 10 years now.
Yeah, and what got you started on it? What did you love about it?
I really like the endurance aspect of it. I've always been a very motivated and I like to push my limits, and so the ability to kind of have something that I can do on my own time and challenge myself both aerobically as well as with speed was really intriguing.
Yeah, setting the bar high for yourself, and if you have a personal challenge of your own, this could be the place to do it. The Triathlon Club here at Talisman Center. You guys, I'm inspired by these athletes. Ed's training for the Ironman in Arizona, and we're going to reveal what John eats after a race. You will not believe the diet after race, of course, right? You got to eat really clean, but then you get to splurge.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Carbs, carbs, and more carbs.
Carbs,
That's-
and I'm guessing McDonald's hamburgers or fast food is in the cards.
Yeah, well, we're going to head on over and check in with Jill. Jill's at the Talisman Center this morning for Fitness Fridays. Now, Jill, you were talking before the break about what it takes to prepare for a race. You got to be very disciplined when it comes to food. But then the payoff is what you get to eat after.
The payoff is spectacular, and we are going to be talking to John, and he just actually had to take his bike down. So we'll be revealing that in the 8 o'clock hour. But I will tell you that it involves a drive-through, $30, and even my cameraman was impressed. But Ted, you've done marathons before. What did you eat post-race? What was your indulgence?
I always did fast food, always.
Yeah.
Always fast food. I got like 3 hamburgers, extra large fries, a milkshake, a Coke, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, sometimes that's the light at the end of the tunnel here. But we're in mid-training here. We're about to ramp up. Talking to Kathy, who's training for the Ironman in Texas. This is this upcoming May, so congratulations to you, for setting that goal. Now, let's talk a little bit about how you manage this in your life. You have a full-time job and you train full-time, so how do you balance all of that?
It just comes down to getting everything in as per my schedule. So my schedule is actually set on my work schedule. If I have to travel, if I have to go to site for a day, everything's based on what my kind of work around my work schedule. I'm here at 5 a.m. in the mornings for swims, then I come back at the afternoons.
Okay, so you're dedicated.
You have to be.
You have to be. And how are you feeling heading into May?
It's gonna be a little bit different than Ironman Canada, because Ironman Canada I got to bike outside, so this is more inside training inside the Talisman. It's a little bit more heat training in here because of it's humid and everything, so which is good for Texas. But so let's see how it actually difference between biking outside all summer compared to an early Ironman will do.
Yeah, and that is the trick here. When you live in a cold climate, you got to be training inside. Okay, we're going to get you on the track. Okay. Go ahead, Kathy, and she's going to be modeling. She's doing a bit of a run for us this morning. Now, Grant is Kathy's trainer, and you're taking her to Ironman Texas. Tell me a little bit about the work that you do, and that's the thing, right? Training, you don't want to be training outside. You end up doing a lot of your training inside, and you need to mix things up. So, so how are you building the program with Kathy?
So with Kathy, I encourage most of my athletes when in the wintertime in Calgary, you can still get some decent run training outside. And what it does is just breaks up the monotony of the indoor training here at a facility. I mean, Talisman's great because you have so many different ways with the track and the treadmills, but with her I kind of structure it around in the winter when you can't spend as much time on the bike. You really try and do some shorter workouts with some, say, longer tempo rides, so efforts at race pace, so you still get a good solid training stimulus. You're just not forcing them to do the same sort of volume. It works well with a busy work schedule like Kathy's as well.
Okay, so you're able to be efficient when someone is working full-time, training full-time. It really is like taking on another full-time job. Oh, here's John coming up the stairs here, you guys. We're going to find out about his post-race meal. He's like a very slim guy, but you wouldn't believe the amount of calories that he can consume after a race.
Exactly. We're going to pass this off to Jill, though. Jill's hanging out at the Talisman Center. It's our Fitness Friday thing we've got going on, and today you're discussing triathlons.
We sure are, and you know what? Meatloaf wrapped in bacon might be something that you'd have after a race, definitely not before here. But we're learning how to train like a pro. So we've been talking about the Triathlon Club, how you can get started. Grant and John are both coaches here at the Triathlon Club at Talisman Center, and you guys train in elite conditions. You're doing 7 half Ironmans leading up to Vegas. So we're going to do some plyometrics here, and John's demonstrating what for us here, Grant?
Well, he's essentially doing a stabilization exercise where you want to try and keep the hips nice and stable. So then you're looking at this benefiting the run. So you activate your glutes, strong to the core, and you're holding your proper form.
Yeah. And how many hours a week are you training?
Right now, it's kind of the 22, 25 hours a week. In the peak summer, then it's about 35 hours a week of training that I do.
Okay, quite a commitment there, and ramping up for your race season. And eventually, you may qualify for the Olympics. That's the ultimate goal?
Yeah, it won't happen for 2012 in London, but it's a possible goal for 2016, depending on how the half Ironman racing goes.
Okay, wonderful. We're going to get you to switch spots here, and we'll bring John over and have Grant demonstrate another exercise. And what are we calling this? The horse paw.
The horse paw, yeah, it's a standing beat. So this is really good for understanding your foot strike and knee drive within your running stride. You notice how Grant is super tall, and that really helps out with his efficiency. A lot of people hunch forward when they run, and they kind of get all tight up top. And this is to teach you to be a little bit more loose and relaxed when you run.
Yeah, and Grant makes this look easy. It actually isn't as easy as it looks. And you're gearing up for your race season. You've been doing triathlon since the age of 6 years old.
That's right. I started in the Kids of Steel program in Calgary, and was swimming for the Dinos for a number of years, and got back into triathlon after I finished swimming, and now just turning pro, and well, a couple years ago just turning pro, and yeah, now I'm gearing up for Escape from Alcatraz in San Francisco. That's my big early season race. So
Yeah.
Cool.
Swim from the island to shore, and then up and over the Presidio, a really hilly, sandy, tough course. I'm really excited.
Really cool. And really quickly, your order at Wendy's after the race is?
Oh, I like a double bacon cheeseburger, a biggie size combo with a biggie size Frosty. Yes, you can get that. Taco salad, chili cheese nachos.
Whatever
it's
you
about
want.
$30.
All of that for $30.
You know what? I suspect, Jill, that he would add this meatloaf to his
Yeah.
menu if he
Okay.
was tasting it right now. We are digging in, I have to admit. This is really good.
Yeah, this is delicious.
Where Jill is for Fitness Friday today. And Jill, quite a workout today.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got the swim in already. We were on the track. We did some biking. We have Heather on the bike, and she is working up a sweat here this morning and talking to a couple of the coaches here in the Triathlon Club at the Talisman Center. So great to have you guys. Great information here for people. And it is quite a bit of a commitment. We spoke to one of your clients who is preparing for the Ironman and the work-life balance. So you also do customized programs. What's available for people, Grant?
So the one I'm going to talk about is a full customized program. And so an athlete would come to me and say, I'm going to train for the Ironman Calgary 70.3. So then what I'd go through is they'd purchase a program for me, which would include workouts that they would do every day, so they can wake up, look at their program for the week, as well as they have access to the facility. They get nutrition sessions, they get lactate or testing done on the treadmill and on the bike, so you know exactly how hard they need to work in specific times. And then I base the program all around that, gearing them towards their racing, and they have full access to everything Talisman has to offer.
Okay, great. So that's a great way to squeeze it into your schedule if you travel or, you know, you work 9 to 5, whatever it may be.
Right.
Okay, and there's also something very cool coming up that's making it accessible for families. What's coming up in February?
So we're gonna do our first triathlon related event of the year, and it's called Aquathon, and it's a swim and a run, separate events, and it's on February 26th. So we're going to open it up to kids and adults, beginners, advanced triathletes, and just get people kind of excited about the season and excited about the facility, and yeah.
Aquathon, it's a swim and a run, February 26th, and you can go to our website, breakfasttelevision.ca, for all of the information. Thanks very much, you guys, Grant and John. Thank you, Heather, for being on the bike for us today, for all the inspiration. And you know what, you guys? I think I'm going to sign up.